Guys, this is behind the scenes of Ranger Part 2 Shooter X, and we are shooting the final moments where Shooter X and Ranger depart off and they make amends.
Doing it again?
Yep.
How's my hair?
Fabulous!
Great!
Alright. 3, 2, 1, action.
Why would you want to do that? Because I know who you are, actually. I actually made contact. I'm so sorry.
What was your experience?
Well, I got to hit Jen in the head with a beer bottle, so that's good.
Yeah, and we're staying thirsty, my friends. Stay tuned.
Go. Go.
Come on, bitch.
Take out, stupid son.
Traitor!
We have to do that again.
Okay. Let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Alright, Elijah, in place, in place. Yeah, like Superman punch. Oh.
Damn it! Okay, look, I'm very sad to say that Shooter X is still yet to be found. Me and the POA are doing the very best we can to catch this political terrorist. Let's redo that. Rerun that. Look, I'm very sad to say that the shooter. Start over.
Ranger Part 2 Shooter X is sponsored by
Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Alright, cut.
Hi, I'm Brutus, and I'm the most interesting man in the world. Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm very glad that we completed this sequel, and you know, everybody was really in it to win this one, and you know, with the audience from the premiere of the very last movie, they were amped up and excited.
Shooter X, it was a really fun film to do. Whenever I first was trying to do the movie, Jed had asked me to come out to film with him one day, and ever since then it has been a really fun experience, and just glad to have a good experience with all these guys, and made some new friends along the way. The main part of the movie that I enjoyed was really like doing the fight scenes with Jed, even though he could be kind of rough sometimes. That's Jed, but yeah, I'm just glad that we got it over with and we got through it, and we had fun along the way. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Shooter X was a very vital and important character to me, and especially for the Ranger series, like we had to mention him and bring him along, because you see, you know, John's breaking points and his limits and how far he's willing to go to stand for what's right and what he's willing to fight and sacrifice for.
One thing I really liked about my character is that he was not really a hero or a good guy, or really a good guy, but or not so much a villain, but like a little bit of in between. Like kind of he wanted to have justice on people that had killed his group and killed his men, and I think that I was really inspired to do that part, because like that's like an anti-hero role, because I feel like justice could be served in different ways, and I just like the idea of that character. And also his motive was really to kill all the political, like the screwy political corrupt people inside of the government, inside of the POA and all that. So his idea was trying to really eliminate all those people to get to Salvo, who killed his guys. But along the way, there was innocent casualties and things that happened that weren't so fortunate for others, like Deborah Mason and other characters, which I just think that, you know, along the way, he kind of learned that there's other ways of trying to fight off crime and trying to find those corrupt people and figure them out.
It takes place 3 months after the first movie, and then he's an agent of the POA, well, kind of like a trainee, if you will, and he hears all over the news that Deborah Mason, the lady who recruited him into the POA, has been killed alongside with the governor of Texas, and there's a political shooter called Shooter X. And so while he's trying to figure out who Shooter X is and trying to figure out how Deborah exactly died and what's all going on and why all the POA agents are having to come back to base, he starts questioning, you know, who is he really, and has anybody found this guy? And so when after the incident of like Shooter X trying to get inside the POA, he takes matters into his own hands, which kind of gets him to become a fugitive. And so you just see he tries to form his own secret unit and tries to get his best friends that he trusts with his life, like Tommy Morton and Dave Callahan.
Tommy Gunn was a weird role to play because I wasn't necessarily used to acting so far. Like, I've only played in like 3 things so far. Like, I went into Tony's Estrangement movie as sort of the bully character named Caleb. And then there's Ranger 1, which was kind of like the first, like kind of like my first proper thing, but I didn't get paid for it, which is okay, that's fine. It was a school project. And then there's like one other thing. But anyway, like, he kind of grew and like changed. At first he had an accent, which I tried to poorly imply, but with the cut scenes, it kind of like flowed away and like kind of became a part of me, and like how he interacts with the Shooter X guy. Like, he's, I don't know, don't really have much to say about that. I just, you know, like kind of a sworn enemy, but yeah, it's okay.
I guess in terms of the soundtrack to this one, everything has to flow kind of organically. It takes some time, and this seems to be an improvement on the last time where I had to do the soundtrack in a matter of 30 minutes, and it still came out good. But now I'll have more time to really intimately think about each scene and how the soundtrack should flow. I think that that'll make it seem a little more intentional rather than just, oh, here's 4 different tracks to work with, put them in various places. And, you know, you'll be able to have a more intentional theme to it, you know, not just randomly applied. So each scene will have its own unique emotion to it. It'll have varying levels of angst and sadness and anger and all the emotions that human beings inevitably feel. So in terms of that, on the same note, I think that involving more people in this project definitely broaden the humanity of the characters. The more human interaction you have inside of a film, the more human each character is, because the more they get to have dynamic thoughts and feelings and expressions and how they express themselves. So that definitely is working towards something that feels very real and solid. So that's what I think about this film, and hopefully it'll expand even further in the third one. So
This movie flowed a lot differently than the last one because we didn't have the interruption of school. Of course, that certainly made like everything a lot more easy and everything a lot more faster. It was a lot faster than the last one because this movie took us like how much? Like 7 months? Or no, like 3. Literally like 3. It was a really fast production process. Maybe a little too fast, but I mean, it's a good movie. I like what I saw so far. Everything seems to flow really well together. Not too many errors, and Jed's part, I think he's grown a lot during this process in his knowledge of Adobe products and like the technology that's behind it, and like sort of the directing based on like kind of like my advice and like his own sort of style. And then but yeah, this overall movie process was just faster and a lot more dynamic. We did a lot of traveling. We went to Jed's house a lot. Here, we'll cut that. No, we don't